So this AMA is about OpenGov and how to like vote and delegate using specifically like a Nova wallet, but we'll also see how you can do it in Polkadot.js and how you can monitor what you're doing with other platforms like Polkassembly and Subsquare. Okay, here on my screen, I have Polkadot.js on the left, and I have Nova Wallet on the right. You can see this is Nova Wallet, and I just put Polkadot.js here just to show a little bit of more detailed information on what's going on. I have this account, KSM Stash. It has 4 KSM, and currently I have 0.6 KSM locked. But you can see here, I have also a 0.1 KSM lock here. And this is a democracy lock. This is a lock because I previously voted, I previously delegated, and I have undelegated. But actually, because locks, they do not stack, you will see the biggest lock that decides the total amount of token that you have locked. And here, if I hover on Polkadot.js, you can see that I have 0.6 KSM in staking, currently bonded, and 0.1 KSM locked via referendum. And what you see here, 0.6 is the biggest. We have 0.6 tokens. We use this 0.6 token to stake, but we can also use them to vote. And the biggest locks decides. So here is under vote on Polkadot.js. You can see like under assets is the account that currently we are using. This is the KSM stash, and the KSM stash has some KSM. If we want to vote, we have to go in Nova under vote, and you can see it here. And under vote, it will give you some information about what you're doing. Currently, we are not doing anything. I mean, we can see that we have been doing something in the past because we have a lock. In fact, if we tap on the locked amount, we can see that we have 6 days left. So this is was a 1x conviction lock that I just did earlier this morning, and for delegation, and I undelegated, and now I have this lock. So whenever you delegate and you undelegate, you will get a lock, no matter what. If the referendum passes, if it doesn't pass, you will get a lock if you delegate with conviction. So what I want to show right now is how we can delegate again. So to delegate, we go and add delegation. And here we can see all the people that are accepting delegations. So all the people that will be able to use our voting power to vote. We will not be involved in OpenGov. We can say, okay, I have these tokens and I can use them to vote in OpenGov. I don't want to do it myself. I decide, okay, I will give permission to ChaosDAO to vote on my behalf. So I can click on Add Delegation, and I can select all the tracks. OpenGov has different tracks that basically decides how much can you like spend from the treasury for the treasury tracks, or you have the root track for like a big implementation and changes in the code base, for example, and different tracks for different things. In this case, I will just select the medium spender track in this example. Then I click on continue, and here I can choose the conviction voting. The conviction voting is like a multiplier that basically will make my vote stronger at the expense of locking my tokens for a longer period of time. And in here, you can see that now with the 0.1x conviction is the default. There is no lock. So you can see like there is no lock in here. But as soon as I select 1x conviction, you can see that the undelegating period is 7 days. So here I just select 1x. You can actually go up to 6 times, but you can see here the locking period dramatically increases. So we will choose 1x. Here we need to specify the amount of tokens, and we can click on continue and click confirm. And now we are delegating. You can see here that something changed, and we can see the information about our delegation, 0.1 KSM. And this is information about what we are doing. We are currently delegating to Chaos DAO, only the medium spender track, and the conviction voting is a 1x. All right. So what happens, for example, if I want to vote while I'm delegating? So in OpenGov, you can delegate your votes, but you can also vote yourself on a referendum. So what happens if I have a delegation on the medium spender track and I want to vote? So let's go and select, for example, the first referendum here is on the medium spender track. We select it, and we decide, okay, let's vote. And let's select, I don't know, 0.1. And if I click yes, you will see already delegating votes. So you cannot actually delegate on a specific track and then vote at the same time if you already have this delegation. And here is specifying to you with this really nice, user, this nice informative banner that you're delegating votes for a selected referendum track. Please either ask your delegate to vote or remove the delegation. Okay, so we cannot vote. Okay, we go back and we remove our delegation. How do we remove our delegation? We select on your delegation here. Then we tap on the delegation that is currently active. We tap on here on Revoke. And we need to select treasuring medium spend. So this is the track that we are actually currently delegating. We click on continue, and we click on confirm. So in a while, we will see that here we go. We don't have anymore our delegation. But if we go here, we can see now the lock is updated. So it's no more 6 days, but it's 7 days left. So we just reset basically the countdown of our lock. We just undelegated, and because we delegated with conviction 1x, we will get a lock of 7 days. Okay, now that we undelegated, what we try to do is to vote. So we select the referendum here, which is a medium spender, and we click on vote. And we can see here that we already have a lock-in period. Although we have this 0.1x conviction that actually doesn't create any lock, Nova Wallet is already telling us that on this track, we already have a 7 days locking period that started. And the lock that we have is 0.1 KSM. So what we try to do here is to specify 0.115. So we actually vote with a little bit more than the actual lock that we currently have. You can see here we have this 0.1 KSM lock on a referendum. And we select the conviction 1x. So we have 0.15 votes. Okay. And we can see here how much it changed. So how the situation will change after we vote like this. So the governance lock will increase by 0.05 KSM, and the locking period will increase from 7 to 10 days. Why is like this? It's because this referendum will finish in 3 days. So we will have the 7 days lock plus 3 days because this referendum is ongoing, and we are voting. We are actually voting on it. So if the referendum ends in 3 days and we are on the winning side, we will get a 10 days, a 7 days lock after that. But if we are on the losing side, we will remain with the lock that we currently have, which is the delegation lock. So we will actually have 4 days of locking period left, because we started now with 7 days, and in 3 days we will have 4 days left. So we click on yes, and we vote on this referendum. And we can see now we have voted. We voted yes. And if we go and we double check on Polkadot.js, now the referendum lock is 0.15. Okay, but what is nice about voting that is not possible about delegating is that if the referendum is ongoing, I can remove my vote anytime, even if I have a 6 times conviction. So I can remove the vote and I can unlock immediately if the referendum is ongoing. The only situation when I will actually get the lock if I'm voting on a referendum, if the referendum ends and I am on the winning side. This is the difference with delegation, because delegation are not like this. As soon as I delegate, I will get a lock, no matter what, if I'm delegating with conviction. So whenever you decide to delegate, you have to really think that if you're delegating with conviction, whatever you do, even if you decide that 1 second later to undelegate, you will get the lock. But with voting, it's not like this. And we will see right now. If we go back under locked amount, we can see that as we have seen before, 10 days left, 0.15 KSM. No more 0.1, but 0.15. Because in here, we have the delegation that we did and the voting that we just finished to vote. Interestingly, if we go back on the referendum and we click on revote and we set our vote to 0, okay, we delegate with I don't think this matters. We select yes, confirm. So now we updated our vote to 0. It's basically we are not voting anymore on this referendum. If we go here, you can see that we can unlock. We can already unlock something because we were voting ourselves on an ongoing referendum. So if we select this, we can see that we have 0.05 KSM that are unlockable. And this is actually because we voted with 0.15 KSM, but we already had this 0.1 KSM from the delegation. So this will stay, but the difference between the two, which is 0.05, will be unlockable. So I can actually tap on unlock and confirm. And now I'm just left with the 0.1 KSM that was from a delegation. So we delegated and undelegated. We can see here still we have 0 votes, and I don't know why Nova is doing like this. There is currently, as far as I know, and I tried, there is no like remove vote option here. But actually, if you go under add delegation and you try to add a delegation again, you will see this this message, and this message is telling me that I still have some votes that I can remove. And I cannot delegate to the medium spender track because I still have votes on that specific track, even if I selected 0 votes. So what I'm doing here is just remove votes and confirm. And now we're good to go. Now we remove the vote and we can delegate again. Okay, this is basically it. I mean, it's mostly what delegating and voting means, and how you can do it easily with Nova Wallet. And you can clearly see when you can do stuff and you cannot do stuff, and what you need to do to solve the problem. The main things I think to remember is that if you delegate with conviction and you undelegate, you get a lock no matter what. But if you vote with conviction and you remove the vote before like the referendum ends, you will actually be able to unlock immediately. The only situation when you're voting yourself that you will get a lock if you're voting with conviction is that basically the referendum ends and you are on the winning side. Then you will get the lock. Otherwise, you will be able to remove. If you're on the losing side, at the end of the referendum, you will be able to remove the lock. And you cannot delegate and vote at the same time on the same track. You either vote and then remove the vote and then delegate, or the opposite. That's it. And it's you can clearly see, like, for example, here I have Subsquare, and I have my account. Subsquare is basically a platform where it eases a little bit your experience about voting in OpenGov. You have a better, informative platform. It's of course for desktop experience, not for mobile. But whatever you do on Nova, for example, if we go again and we delegate a delegation, we select the medium spender again, and we select 1x, 0.1, continue, confirm. So now we are delegating. If I refresh the page here, account, all right, I can see here that whenever I delegate to a specific track, my vote will apply to whatever the account that I delegated to is doing. So my vote will be added automatically. You can see like 0.1 KSM no, and this kind of stuff. And you can see like total lock 0.1, delegated 0.1. And as soon as I am delegate, I will still keep the lock. This will go to 0, and my votes will be removed from basically all these referenda. So if I tap here and I tap on revoke, I select restrict your span, continue, confirm, and here you see no delegation anymore. And in here, you can see no current votes and total lock. So everything will be, of course, I mean, everything is happening on Polkadot. So whatever platform you're doing will reflect exactly what we did on Nova. And you can use different platforms. Is Subsquare, is also Polkassembly. These are similar platforms that they are used for the same goal, which is like interacting with Polkadot OpenGov and delegating and voting, creating a referendum, submitting proposals, stuff like that. Yeah, that's it. I think we can already I can give you maybe the word, Michalis, if you wanted to demo on Polkadot.js.
Do we want to demo on Polkadot.js? I mean, if people can use Nova,
no, yeah,
why would they use Polkadot.js?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, but if you wanted to add something or specifically, or we can already start with the AMA, because I mean it's very simple, as you see. It's very simple to use Nova Wallet. And what I showed are basically the most important things to, I believe, the most important things to remember, and the action that you can do on the wallet when it comes to OpenGov.
Well, I think the only thing that in the past I have seen people having trouble with is what happens if you remove the vote. But you cannot yet remove the lock. I'm not sure if Nova provides that functionality. So to give you an idea of what I mean, like Filippo said, let me turn on my camera too. Like Filippo said, you can remove the vote when you're voting directly whenever you want. If you do it before the referendum ends, then your vote is not counted, obviously, in the referendum, and you can remove the lock right away. If you do it after the referendum ends and you are on the winning side, then you get a conviction lock. The thing is that in order to unlock, two extrinsics are involved. The first one is to remove the vote for the completed referendum, and there is a separate one to actually remove the lock once the lock has expired. Now, Polkadot.js provides an easy way to do that for any expired locks. So let me share my screen.
Sure.
I probably won't be able to show removing the lock because I don't have any expired locks here. But let's say we want to do it the old-fashioned way through Polkadot.JS because we are hardcore users and that's what we know. So let's say I want to vote on this referendum here, 343. I click vote, and I want to vote with this account, test1, and with 0.1, and let's not use any conviction at all. So as you can see now, my voting power is 1/10 of what I'm actually using as a balance because I'm not using any conviction. And I'm voting. I'm asked to sign in the extension. I do that. And I have voted. And if I go back to accounts, I will see that now I have a lock for this ongoing referendum for 0.1 KSM. Now, if I let this run its course and the referendum passes, I will get a lock, but because I didn't use any conviction, the lock will already have expired. And over here, there will be a nice option to clear expired referendal locks. If I click that, then the vote is removed and the lock is also removed. If we want to get a little bit more technical, we can check this on the actual state of the blockchain. So if I go and select here conviction voting, and on the right voting for, and my account here, I will disable this option because I want to check all tracks. I will get a nice response here that says I'm voting in referendum 343, which is on the whitelisted track number 1. With no conviction, I voted aye with this balance. This is in planks. So we need to divide with 10th on the 12th power to get 0.1. And I have no delegations and I have no locks. So what happens now? Let's say I want to remove my vote. I'm going to do that with Subsquare. Let me connect my account. I will allow the application access and I will use account test1. So I have connected my account, and I guess in here I have one vote for 0.1 KSM in this deciding referendum that I voted aye. If I click X here, I will remove my vote from the referendum, and I click confirm. I confirm the extension. I sign the transaction. Waiting for it to be submitted, and my vote is gone. Oh, okay. That wasn't there before. Cool. Now, let's go back to Polkadot.JS. I was not aware of that. As you can see, I still have the lock because as I mentioned, this involves two extrinsics: remove the vote and then unlock. So even though I removed the vote, I removed the lock before the referendum ended, or even if I did it after, since I had voted with no conviction, there will still be no conviction lock. The lock is still there and needs to be removed. So since Subsquare offers this very nice feature, I won't do it through Polkadot.JS unless somebody feels otherwise. I will do it from here. I will click unlock, and that will actually, let me put this over here so you can see. As you can see, this is an extrinsic from the conviction voting palette to unlock on the specific track. So remove vote happens on the referendum level, unlock happens on the track level. Obviously, if we have multiple logs from multiple referenda in the same track, it will only remove the logs that can be removed. So once I sign this transaction, the log is gone as well, which I also can confirm in Polkadot.js that there is no log anymore. So yeah, given that Subsquare allows you to do that, I don't see a reason why somebody would do it through Polkadot.js. I don't know if you guys want me to show. I mean, I showed how to vote. I can go a little bit more hardcore and do everything with raw extrinsics if we want, but I don't think anyone is interested in that.
Yeah, maybe we can just keep it. I mean, we can just see if somebody has already like some questions.
Yes, that sounds like a good idea.
Maybe this is the time for Natalie to.
Yeah, I mean, it's more a wish for the future, because I think there should be like a whole session, just a whole like mechanism behind it, right? So, I mean, I'm sure there's a structure, right? So if someone votes, then this happens. If it gets locked, I mean, now you're showing it basically from the perspective of someone who wants to actively vote right now, and how to use his wallet and how to lock it. So that's like the very, use case or centric version. And I would like to also understand like the system behind it. Like, what if someone has whatever 100 times more dots, and how is the democratic approach assured behind it? What's the logic? This I would understand, but this is maybe for like a separate call. But you know what I mean?
I mean, of course, like people that I mean, the democratic approach is quite simple. I mean, you have this conviction voting, and the more dot you have, and the more conviction you use, the more powerful you are in governance. And this is also like the issue that I mean, the issue what we have seen like recently, that the big whales, a couple of them started to vote, and they can easily like steer the the course of the referendum. And that's why also now with decentralized voices, the foundation is giving 42 million voting power of DOT for delegation to counteract and make a little bit the current situation a little bit more balanced. Because I mean, my personal opinion is that the current turnout in voting is very low, which means that if you have a couple of whales that are voting, they're very powerful. So what you want to do is, of course, this situation wouldn't happen if you have like 60% or 70% turnout, but it's not definitely the current situation. No, Michalis, you want to add something here?
Sorry, Natalie, I missed the first part of the question. Can you please repeat that?
Yes, I mean, it's not a question, it's more like a wish for another session, basically. So this was more focused on a user and how to, use your wallet and how to actually place a vote, which is obviously, this is like definitely worth a session. But I would also, before, I go into vote as a user, I would really like to understand the whole voting mechanism in the background, right? So how does it work? So let's say one token equals one vote, but then again, you can increase your threshold and your lock time and your power if you really care about something. And how does that make some things more equal for people who have less token, and all these kind of thoughts behind it, So what's the mechanism in the background? Would be nice to have one session and kind of really understand the structure behind it or the logic.
Well, I'm happy to offer some views on the subject. I mean, there is a lot of game theory behind this process, and reasonable voting is an assumption that has been made in the design of OpenGov and the previous model, governance one, that in the sense that you vote for something that you believe will benefit the ecosystem, and which in turn benefits yourself, because the value of the token will increase if good things happen. So a reasonable voter votes for stuff that they believe will improve the ecosystem. But that isn't necessarily how people vote, right?
Yeah.
But it is true that it's not a clear-cut democratic system in the sense that we are used to in our countries and in democratic systems, in the sense that it's not one person, one vote. It's basically one dot, one vote, multiplied by the conviction you are willing to put in.
Why was the conviction?
Why was the conviction? Because it enhances the idea that you are voting for the long-term benefit of the chain. So if I'm willing to lock my tokens for a very long period of time, it means that I'm actually invested in the network and in the decision that I help make with my vote. So this gives me more power. This gives more power to my voice, but at the same time, it locks me in, so that I put my what's the phrase? I put my money where my mouth is. So if I voted for something bad for the network, I will have to live with the repercussions of my vote, because I cannot leave the network. I'm locked in. Whereas if somebody votes without conviction, their vote is divided by 10 in voting power, their balance, because they are not invested. So they should not have the same voice, the same power as somebody who says, you know what, I really believe in that, and I'm willing to lock myself in to vote for this referendum because I really believe in it. Or I really don't want this to pass, right? If you vote nay, it works in both directions. And this is the idea behind allowing you to unlock if you are with the losing side. So let's say I vote against something with a 6x conviction that I really don't want to pass, but it passes, right? The majority says it should pass. I should be able to unlock and leave the network if I want to, because I really don't like that decision the community just made. So I should be able to unlock right away and sell my tokens and say, bye-bye, guys. I don't like the direction Polkadot is going in. So this is why you can unlock if you voted with the losing side. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, it's definitely an answer to part of the question, but I mean, it's bigger, the treasury, and you have people, and
what conviction to voting doesn't do is that it actually doesn't level the playing field. So if I'm voting with, let's say, 100 DOT, and you are voting with 1 million DOT, if I vote with 6x, okay, two big numbers. Let's say I'm voting with 100 DOT and you're voting with 200 DOT. My 6x conviction would be equal to your 3x conviction. So if you voted with 3x and I voted with 6x, we have the same voting power. But obviously, you can also vote with 6x. So the fact that the more tokens you have, the more voting power you have, does not really change with conviction voting. But that is also by design, because this is not a state in the world. It's an economic network. So it stands to reason that people with more DOT are more invested. They have more to gain and they have more to lose. So with that in mind, their voice also carries. more power, provided, of course, that they are willing to lock their DOT, either their full status or some part of it, to participate in governance. But of course, this is a big discussion.
Yeah,
it's kind of more like a philosophical
yes,
discussion around OpenGov.
It's easy like to be made for one person on vote, right?
Yeah, you can stay here like discuss for a very long time about these things. It's very complex and intricate.
You have a blog that you can share where it's like this good explained. Just share. Feel free to share with me.
Yeah, I mean, we can also do a separate session about it.
So not exactly like this, how do I actually vote, but actually the system behind it.
Yeah.
That would be cool for me, yeah.
Okay, going back
I can see here. Sorry.
Yes, I was just going to do the same thing and answer Juan's questions that he posted. But please go ahead, Filippo.
Yeah, I can see here there are if I delegate votes to disagree with an ongoing referendum, what would happen to my voting power if I undelegate? So as I said, like before, if you undelegate and you voted with conviction, you will get a lock. So you can see here just this diagram. You have delegation, you delegated with conviction, you undelegated, you have a conviction lock. You can delegate again, but no matter what, if you delegated with conviction, you will get the lock. And then, will my voting power no longer count for that referendum? Yes. So all the votes, depending what delegation you choose, for example, if you delegated all tracks, all your votes will be removed from all the referendum on all the tracks. You will get the lock, and the votes will be removed completely from all these referenda. I mean, of course, considering that your delegate.
Filippo, please allow me a small correction here. If you have delegated on all tracks, you cannot undelegate on a specific track if you want to. You don't need to undelegate on all of them.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can just remove one track if you don't want a specific track. Yeah. Thank you, Michalis. And can I still vote on that referendum? Yes, I demoed it before. You need to remove the delegation on that specific track, and then you will get the lock if you voted with conviction. But then you can vote on a specific referendum on that track again. You can vote yourself if you don't want to delegate. That you can do it. Should I delegate all my voting power to a single delegate for all tracks? This is
just to clarify something, Filippo, that you might disagree with your delegates' vote on one specific referendum, but if you remove your delegation on that track, like you said, Filippo, all the votes on that track from your delegate will be removed. So you will
the referenda.
Yeah, exactly. So you would need to vote separately on each of those referenda if you still want your vote to count for those two.
Yeah. And I delegate all my voting power to a single. Should I delegate to a single entity? It's up to the person. You can choose one entity for all the tracks. You can choose specific entities you want to delegate to for different tracks. Maybe one entity is very skilled technically and it can take the root track. Another entity is more like into marketing, and you delegate, I don't know, the medium spender track that is heavily used for marketing, but it's not necessarily only for marketing. So it's kind of tricky, and it depends from case to case. Are there other questions? Maybe you want something to demo again with Nova, someone that joined later. I don't know, like if you. It's pretty intuitive and easy to use. I have to be honest. Like it's really helpful tool when it comes to OpenGov. It's easy as so much. The voting experience.
Just to reiterate the two basic difference between delegation and direct voting with regards to locks is that when you are delegating, the conviction lock, which starts, which is the locking period you selected based on your conviction, will start as soon as you undelegate on that track, regardless of what your delegate has done with voting. So as soon as you undelegate, the conviction lock starts. With direct voting, the conviction lock starts as soon as the referendum ended, provided that you are that you voted with the winning side. And if we want to get a little bit more technical, the lock is calculated and put on the change state when you remove the vote, but the calculation starts from when the referendum ended. And of course, this has to do with voting on a referendum with the winning side, and that you voted until the end. You didn't remove the vote beforehand. If you remove the vote beforehand, or you are with the losing side, then you can immediately unlock. But again, you need to remove the vote first. Thankfully, Nova and as we saw, Subsquare provides a good UI to do that without having to worry about all the backend stuff.
Yeah, it's very, very, very easy to use. And we have seen, like at the start, if you are voting on a referendum that is ending in 3 days, and you're voting with the 1x conviction, it will show that the lock will actually be 3 + 7, 10 days, assuming that you are on the winning side of the referendum. Because if you're not on the winning side of the referendum, after 3 days, you will be able to remove your vote and unlock immediately. But it gives you like the worst case scenario that if you are on the winning side, you will get that 10 days lock. It's really, really helpful, I think. Okay, if there are no other questions, I will already conclude here. And just remember, people, that if you have any issues with OpenGov, or just reach out to the support team or to me. I have Michalis and Juan here. You can open a ticket and the support team will reach out to you. Or you can reach out also to the technical education team. I am Filippo with 3 on basically all social media. So you can ask any question and we will try to give you support. I don't know if Michalis wanted to add something to conclude.
No, not from me. Thank you, Filippo, very much.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Very useful. Thanks, Filippo. Thanks, Michalis. Very useful.
No problems. Thank you for joining this AMA, and I wish you all like a nice weekend. And see you next week. There will be another AMA. There will be 2 special guests, Anton and Limo from Nova Wallet, and we will explore more in depth Nova Wallet, what you can do, the new features, upcoming features. And yeah, please join next week's session. Would be also a very interesting one. Same day, same time for now, but I think maybe I have to rethink a little bit. Friday evening is not probably the best. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. Wish you a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Bye-bye.